Reverend John Batchelor is arguably one of the most amazing missionaries, not only due to his kindness but dedication to spreading the Christian faith and his love towards the Ainu people. But first, welcome. I am Turkman, and I wish to show you a man who deserves a mention and who I inspire to be. And where to start? It would be appropriate to talk about the place where he missioned. This would be a short section, so to focus on himself more later. Hokkaido, or in this time period, was called Ezo or Yezo, depending on the spelling or pronunciation. According to John Batchelor's Secret Yezo, great band name by the way. So, Secret Yezo glimpses at missionary works in North Japan. Yezo, he claims, is of high probability that it is an Ainu word meaning abundant in gains. This does make a lot of sense. Not most, but you get the point. Folklore of Yezo often tells a story where the gods or kamui begin to supply the local population with foxes, salmon, bears, horses, wolves, bears, etc. It's essentially almost all about animals and the nature around them and why things happen the way they do. And who are these people, you might say? It's the Ainu, of course. And who are the Ainu? Now, at the time of writing, the only source I've read, actually no, this is all outdated. I read John Batchelor's and this new book I'm reading, Brett L. Walker's The Conquest of Ainu Lands, which is a fantastic source of information, since most of the information Brett Walker got here in 2001, the book was written. John Batchelor didn't have that information, mainly because it was 1902, 1901, I believe the book was written, and not a lot of the documents have been translated into English. So, to simplify, the Ainu origins goes like this. I'm not an expert, by the way. This is just something I picked up over time, so I'm just spilling it out. So feel free to refute my claims. I forgot to mention the book. I'm talking about John Batchelor's book, which is The Ainu and the Folklore. But nonetheless, I'll carry on. The first people to go in Japan, as we know of, were the Jomon people. They came to Japan around 14,000 BC, so a long time ago. These people were a hunter-gatherers group, much like the Ainu. Both groups have a similar art, hunt like hell. They love hunting. And belief-wise, we're not the complete same, but very closely related. Ainu believes that there was a god, or kamui, same thing, or deity in everything. Not too different from the Japanese belief of Shinto, which I'm not an expert on Shinto. Maybe I'll do that in the future, but nonetheless, in which their gods are called Kami and Kamui. Surely a word that is so divine wouldn't change that much. Now, when I wrote this script about 5-6 months ago, I've been putting this off, making this video, I mentioned Kami and Kamui. At that time, I have not read The Conquest of Ainu Lands, and I've come to the conclusion that I am wrong. I'm very much wrong. Kamui is most likely a loan word from the Japanese kami. But I'll let you think about that, since I love languages, but I'm not the perfect linguist. Whatever, I'm not a perfect language. Now, this is channel I want to mention before I go forth. It's called Ocean Ridge Kiln. Great channel. This woman does many videos on Asian pottery, not just Japanese, but Ainu, and I believe Indian as well. I haven't watched those, but a lot on pottery. Now, she did a video on, I'll show up on the screen right now, on Jomo and Ainu party, how they are very similar in both of how they're made, the art behind them, and they have to deal with nature. Great channel, great video. It really gives you an idea how much art culture evolves with the passage of time. Great video. I'll link it below. Check it out. This all changed, however, when the Yayoi Nation attacked, so I had to do that. It was too funny to pass it up. But when the Yayoi people, an ancient group of Chinese immigrants and Koreans, came to Japan. At first, both groups began to intermingle, thus creating the modern-day Japanese. I believe it's 90% Yayoi, that's where you get the Asian features, and less than 10% Ainu or Jomon. I'll show a picture of the difference so you can tell each group apart. And I believe this picture it's both. Hello, so this is I'm recording this after everything. I've deleted all the other audio files because you wouldn't know this, but this entire video was going to be 36 minutes long, and well, I did not have the mental capacity to do a 36-minute long video. The Reverend John Batchelor was born in 1855 and he died in 1944. He went to Japan in 1877 after growing up in Sussex, England. His father was also a clerk, so with this he began the mission in Hokkaido with the CMS, first in Hong Kong, later contracted Malay, then moved to Hokkaido. For it was said that it was much like the climate of England. With this, he met the Ainu people there and began to build churches there and convert the local people to Christianity. He wrote in Ainu, spoke Ainu, and in one of his books, The Ainu and the Folklore, he has an entire passage written in Ainu and an English translation following after it. Throughout the rest of his life, he would live in Japan for about 64 years, from 1877 to 1941. He would have died in Japan if it wasn't for the war beginning. As I said before, he passed away in 1944. I have no doubt that if he lived when the war ended, give it a year or so, maybe 2 or 3, he would have went back. He would have went back to see his friends, at least maybe for a little while before passing away, at least one more time. Thank you for watching this video. I know, it was very, it ended abruptly, but I could not do 36 minutes long. A part of that is laziness and inexperience. Since I don't know if this channel is fully going to be about this type of stuff, I don't think it will. This isn't something I just really want to talk about, even though part of it is just being lazy. And I believe more people should know about this man, and fellow Christians should inspire to be like him in his faith. If you didn't, I'm sure you already know about all the Toho stuff on here. I'm a big fan of Toho. I'm sure some of it was quite awkward to watch, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know if I'll make something like this again. Maybe in a year or 2 years. This has nearly been a full year of rewrites, of procrastination, and whatnot. And most of it is just my fault. For the first I had college, the second half I don't, so I really don't have any excuses, but I'm just really bad at this. Well, nonetheless, I hope you learned something today about this very interesting man. And go read his books. His books is endearing and gives you more of insights of what I just mentioned, or lack of mention. But nonetheless, I hope you enjoy this. The Lord be with you. Have a good day. Bye bye.